Hello.
Hello.
How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Oh, I'm good. I'm good. I was having a little bit of like audio issues here. My AirPods
Well,
were
we know that
connecting and disconnecting.
we know that I've been having issues too, but it's because I am running off of a like 2015 laptop.
Right?
Um, she's never worked so hard in her life because it's just been my personal laptop. So getting put to work now and she's
Yeah,
not
that's
loving
right.
it.
Through her paces, through her paces. I love it. I love it. Well, how excited are we to be here today? Going through our latest wonderful read, Remarkably Bright Creatures. Yes. It's such a pretty book. I'm actually,
It really is.
yeah, I'm a little bit jealous. I did it on e-reader, and got it from the library. So I don't have it handy, but yeah, this is fantastic. And yeah.
This book has been sitting on my bookshelf for I was gonna say probably a year. It's probably been closer to 2
To
years
two.
or
Yeah,
more.
okay.
Like, I've
Well,
had this book for a really long time sitting there on my TBR, and I don't know why. I just never like, I wanted to read it. Again, I think I was just holding on to it
yeah.
because once I read it, I read it.
It would be over. And then, we already know that we're bad at going back and rereading books, right? So I can
So
definitely,
many books to
I
read.
know there's so many books to read.
So,
But yeah, super excited to talk about it. I was surprised when I was getting ready for today to find out that this book was actually came out in 2022.
yeah.
Yeah, because like it's still something that we see talked about all the time on like book talk and Instagram, and like different people are always kind of like chiming in and giving their 2 cents. So I'm glad you suggested that we read it, because
I
I
know.
didn't
It's
even
crazy.
really know about it.
I heard it from a bookstagrammer that I follow.
Okay.
I really like I've there's very few books that she's recommended that I've read that I haven't really enjoyed. So I feel like I always kind of lean towards her
Yeah.
recommendations. And I think that's how I came across it. Because I don't think I mean the cover is beautiful. So like just to pick up
Yes.
a book
Yeah.
alone on its cover. But I tend to not love sea creatures, especially octopi.
Octopi, maybe.
Um, so it's not like, but again, it's a beautiful cover, but I just don't know if I would have picked it up or sought it
Yeah.
out had I not heard her talk about it and like rave about this beautiful book. But like I said, it's been sitting on my shelf, but you're right. Like I think that's why I kept being like, oh, I need to read that. I need to read that because everybody like there was constantly wouldn't say a wave, but there just seemed to be always, a
Yeah.
conversation happening about it. So it was kind of always top of the list for me. And I
Yeah.
just never picked it up.
Well, I am glad that it kind of made our list for this month, first book of March that we're going to talk about. And just want to also say, like, to everyone who's joined us, thanks so much. Typical to our normal, regularly scheduled program, I guess. We will let you know before we have any spoilers, because if you haven't yet had a chance to read the book, or maybe even if you just want to go into the Netflix adaptation surprised, then we will make sure that we let you know before we chat about any spoilers. Yeah. And then, of course, if you are new here, we do have Instagram, we have TikTok. Please join us. Come along and see what we get up to when we're not talking books on Twitch and YouTube. Okay.
We have fun.
We do. We do have fun. And in the spirit of having fun.
Oh.
Such
a little vino, I see.
Yes, it is a little vino. As anyone who's read this book knows, the book is set in the state of Washington in a fictional town called, I'm going to say it's Sowell Bay. And I don't know if that's actually how you say it, but that's how I'm going to say it. So I felt like I should also include some wine from Washington State. So this is a Grey Monk Pinot Gris from the state of Washington.
I am drinking a cup of vanilla Sleepy Time tea, vintage 2025.
Amazing.
From the great Sobeys.
The great Sobeys. Sleepy Time tea? Like, come on, man. I know we're doing Cozy Chaos, but that's like, it's not that late in Atlantic Canada. It does taste good. And I see I'm already getting some shade from It's Me, Bleep Bloop, about my very full pour. That's right, it is a full pour.
See, that to me is like a regular size glass.
I know. It's a Hudson family pour, Caitlin.
Hudson pour. It is a Hudson pour, because if you haven't fit, like, let's just go with like a regular, normal, traditional size bottle of wine. Mm-hmm. If you have not poured half the bottle into the one glass, then A, your glass is not big enough.
It's true.
And B, you're not doing it right.
You're not doing it right.
Yeah. I know. Whenever they, and I mean, I do enjoy the occasional glass, but I always love it when you go to the restaurant and they're like, oh, do you want like a 5 ounce, a 9 ounce? And I'm like, then they bring it and I'm like,
you're like, this is so small, right? I know. Just start ordering half liters at this point. I think that's probably just the best way to go. But so a little bit themed for our stream. So wanted to go with the Washington wine. I also confiscated a Vancouver themed sweater from my other half because the Netflix adaptation did some filming in and around Vancouver. And then I have a little friend peeking over my shoulder too, just to like make sure we are full on themed for Marcellus, right? It's just, that's the way we gotta go.
I am not theming over here, but you're doing more than enough for the both of us.
Oh, that's okay. So for those of you
who love a good theme too, I just don't have anything,
Listen, I feel like
my moment.
This is your aversion.
This is crap out of it.
This is your aversion to sea creatures clearly catching up to you.
I really do have a big aversion to sea creatures. I love the ocean. I love the ocean.
You wouldn't be from Atlantic Canada if you didn't.
I have a very big issue with
sea creatures. Well, before we get into talking about our book for tonight, for those of you who have joined us, feel free to say hi in the chat if you haven't already. Let us know, right? Like, have you read Remarkably Bright Creatures, or are you just here? Are you just here for the octopus vibes, like the sea creature theme, right? Like that chaos. Let us know. Hello, Audrey. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, and then we can, I think we can get started. It's been, Caitlin, you're bad
Um,
influence.
I mean, I like to be an influence sometimes, and there's been very many occasions that I've been a bad influence, but this might not be one of them that I'm proud of.
Yeah,
Maybe this will be what gets you to dust it off
yeah,
and crack her open.
I hope so.
Because yeah, I
I,
hopefully
yeah.
without giving any details away. The other thing too, just before we dive into this book, pun intended.
Puns.
Um, I would say like we can tease like just again going back to talking about socials and stuff like that. I
Mm,
think it because it's the end of it's the start of a brand new month.
yep.
But I think also we will be sharing what we read during the month of February.
Yeah.
We know two of the books that we read in February,
Yep.
I believe. Yeah. Great Big
Three of the
Beautiful.
books we read in February.
Three of the books.
Three?
You know what? Time is just passing way
I
too
know.
fast. I can't even keep up anymore. Anyway, we will be sharing the books that we read in February
Yeah.
because we even though we're reading these books together, we are also reading several other books.
Yep.
How many books did you read this month?
Six.
Like or last month, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. In February, six.
Okay. And I read 7. So we'll have plenty to share on the socials.
Yeah.
And that's what we're, because we want to obviously get into the nitty-gritty with the books that we're reading together. But that doesn't mean that we also don't want to share some of the other fantastic and
Yeah.
maybe not so fantastic
Maybe
books that
not
we
so.
are reading throughout the
Yeah.
rest of the month.
Very
Because we have
fair.
goals.
We do
We
have
have
goals. We do have
I feel like
goals.
you're killing your goal though,
I
because it's like
am.
you're like double. No, I'm double basically what your goal is, and like we're basically on par, which
Mm.
I feel like I'm slacking a little bit, and you're just killing it.
I
So
mean, that's why we set a achievable goal and revise our target. If capitalism taught me anything, Caitlin, it's that. But I digress.
set it and regret it.
Set it and regret it. So yeah, Remarkably Bright Creatures came out in 2022. Also learned, yes, very pretty. Other thing that I learned while getting ready for today's stream is that this was actually the debut novel by Shelby Van Pelt. So that's really cool. It has been on the New York Times bestsellers list like multiple times. It's shown up, and I would assume it will end up there again because there's been a lot of buzz about this book, right? Because of the Netflix adaptation that comes out soon. Yeah, so I think it's just been a book that a lot of people have talked about for the last 4 years, which is great.
And it's funny because you mentioned the whole Netflix thing, and like I think we're seeing so many adaptations of
Yeah.
books, but I think even if it wasn't happening, I think just the general reading books are cool.
Yes, we do love that
It's
books are cool
changing
again.
the way it's just changing the way that books like it's just I find that there's a lot of books that are you even commented on some of the books that I've read in the last few years. You're like, that was back in like way back then. I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, but I just like someone was just talking about it. Like there
Yeah.
I've seen it like I've seen it on several different lists or people talking about it. So it seems that like yes, there's always people who are interested and looking forward to new releases.
Yep.
But people are discovering books that, were or books that would have come out years ago that
Yeah.
didn't catch on are now like, jumping on the charts because just a group of people or a person is talking about it. So I find that really cool too. So I would be like, I do think that the Netflix adaptation is definitely giving this
Yeah.
book way more hype, and we will see, a resurgence of,
What that's like, yeah.
the popularity of it. But I feel like just in general, which I love because it means that people are reading and people are talking about
Yep,
books.
absolutely. And I see Buffy has chimed in. She read 2 books in the month of February, so close to a third.
Amazing.
Buffy, we totally get it. We totally get it. I almost didn't start a book yesterday because I was like, oh, I can't finish it in one day. And like, what a waste of a day in February. I mean, I still started it, but like, I totally understand that vibe for sure.
I did look to see how many pages I had left in the book I was reading to be like, if I stayed up at a
yeah.
very unreasonable time, would I finish it to get it under the wire of February? And
Mm.
yeah,
And
sleep
no.
one.
Oh well.
Sleep one.
Well, are we ready to start talking about this wonderful, beautiful book
I've been ready to talk about this book since
for
I
days?
finished it, and it
Yeah.
was so hard for me not to text you, A, while I was reading,
I
but
know.
also after I finished the book,
I know.
because it was a challenge, like, I really had to dig deep and not do it and hold
And
it
not
all
do
in.
it. I know.
So I'm really
Well,
excited to talk about
I'm
this.
I'm excited to talk about it too. So, if you're just here for the vibes and you have not had a chance to read Remarkably Bright Creatures, we're gonna get into it. Like we said, we'll let you know before there's spoilers. But I think if you were to read some of the reviews, it is small coastal town setting. It's in the Pacific Northwest, like we mentioned, the state of Washington. And I think like this octopus, Marcellus, is probably why a lot of people find out about the book. And I'm excited to kind of like get into that background. So we might as well kick it off. So our main character in this book is an older lady. Her name is Tova Sullivan. And she is a widow who is in her 70s. And she works the night shift cleaning the aquarium in her small town of Sowell Bay. What I think is just super fun about Tova is like, she just wants to work. Like it's interesting because like, I think the way society kind of pegs older, folks, whether male or female, is like, not necessarily adding as much value as maybe like younger generations are, but like she wants to work. Like she takes such great pride in what it is that she's doing at the aquarium. And I just absolutely love that. And we learn so much about her and her family. And then obviously we learn about how her son had passed away like 20 or 30 years, I think 30 years before the time of this story takes place. And I really loved how learning about her and about this close-knit town really like it touches on so many things around like grief and loneliness and like the importance of like friendship and community and like friendship not even just with like your friends but literally with an octopus. Which is like so fantastic. And I went on Goodreads earlier today because I was curious. I hadn't, I have not yet rated it on Goodreads. And Caitlin, congratulations. I noticed you also did not put your rating. Yes, so you didn't tip me off this time. But yeah, I went on just to see like what it was rated. So on Goodreads, it's like 4.36 stars is what I saw earlier today. So I thought that was interesting. And I think just like general themes from what people have said, for some people like Marcellus, the Great Pacific Octopus, has absolutely stolen the show. He is the one who carries like this story. I think Other people are thinking it's a very, like hopeful book. There's some themes about like healing and connection, especially on touching the grief. And then that the ending was very memorable, which I personally would agree with. But then some of the other things that kind of stood out is like some folks thought that the book was really slow, like the pacing was slow, and that it was more about character development than necessarily the way that the plot of the story moves along. And then these people who like struggled maybe with the humanization of Marcellus. And like,
So
as a vegan, of course we're going to humanize the animals. Like, come on, bro. I don't know. I love books where they humanize like an animal type character, right? Like if you've got Black Beauty does that.
right.
There's The Art of Racing in the Rain. Like there have been some really impactful books that are told like from a non-human narrator perspective, and like these people. Ugh.
It's interesting though, because I was like, earlier today, I was talking to two friends and they were like, oh, what are you reading right now? Because they knew that I was doing this tonight. And they're like, oh, what book are you reading right now? I said, oh, we just finished Remarkably Bright Creatures. And they're like, oh, what's it about? Like, I've heard, like, I've seen, and I'm like, oh, it's a great book. And I was telling them, and I told them the plot. And they were like, oh, you lost me at the octopus, like, talks in this. And I was like, interesting. Because it is, I will say that I've not read a lot. Like I haven't read a lot of books where, an animal or,
Yeah.
a non-human is giving its point of view. That to me, but again, I also like reading fantasy, romantasy,
Yeah.
like that kind of, I wouldn't be, but it was interesting because both of them were like, ooh, you lost me at the octopus. And I was like, interesting. Okay.
Hmm.
So I can see how some people, I would say like, it would be a shame for that to stop people from picking up this book.
We're
But I
not going
can
to
see
invite those people
how
to our stream.
we will. But I think it's also interesting that, and understandable that would be a reason why people may hesitate to pick up the book.
Ugh.
But
Yeah.
I will pick up, if a book is getting a lot of
Yeah.
chat or a lot of,
Yeah. You're
whether it's
curious.
negative or positive feedback,
Yeah.
I need to know about it anyway. So yeah, but it was just interesting that happened today to me when I was talking to people about
Boo.
and like telling them the story about, without going into like, I didn't want to give any spoilers or anything because I was like, no,
Yeah.
it's really like, I would totally lend my copy out to them, and they were just like,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know about this
Well,
octopus thing, and I'm like, fair, but don't knock it till you try it.
hilarious. Well, I think that, this is an interesting viewpoint then. And I'd love to hear from folks who've joined us. Like, do you agree with the opinion that like books that have like a non-human narrator are like cool and interesting, or is that something that might prevent you from picking up a book? Clearly I'm on team animal narrator because like, yeah, why not? I wish if I could talk to Marcellus, like, my life would be made. That would be fantastic. Give me like that parcel tongue Harry Potter vibe where he like suddenly can talk to the snake. Like I would love to be able to talk to animals. It'd be
But
wonderful.
I think we should clarify that they're not actually talking to each
Oh,
other.
I know.
But so that's one thing.
That is one
that's
thing.
people
Yeah.
like so Marcellus and Tova are not actually physically having conversations, but
Or are they?
they still are able to communicate in their own ways with each other, which is
Yes.
what I love.
Yeah,
But
nonverbal.
yes, so we do hear Marcellus, we do hear his thoughts, but we
Yep.
don't, he doesn't actually talk in the book.
Yeah.
Because I think that's a good distinction, because that does
It's
take
true.
it from
Yeah.
like
Yeah, he's
a
not like
fiction story
having
to
little
like
chats. Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
Well, that's okay. Our friends that have joined us, we've got a few here that are saying, it's me, Bleep Bloop. loves a non-human POV. And Audrey C83, I am right there with you. Black Beauty, like what a classic, having that story narrated. This is wonderful. So
Can I tell you though
yeah.
that I was almost hesitant to, and this is not a spoiler. There's a little story that goes with this, as to why I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to get through this book though.
Uh-oh.
And it's Marcellus's fault.
Oh,
Um,
why? What does what?
because um,
Don't blame Marcellus.
so, and it's kind of it was Marcellus, but it also because in the first 2 pages
Yep.
of the book,
Yep.
we open with Marcellus.
Yes,
giving
we do.
us, an intro. And he talks about his lifespan. Like the lifespan
Oh,
of
yeah. Of a Great Pacific
and then
Octopus. 4
he
years.
tells us
Hmm.
that, he was brought as and I'm going to quote this. This is page 2, so no spoiler. This is not a spoiler, I promise. He goes, I was brought here as a juvenile. I shall die here in this tank. At the very most, 160 days remain until my sentence is complete. That's page 2 of this book. I was like, oh dear God, what have I gotten us into? Because when we started reading this book, I was already ridiculously emotional about a little monkey that has taken over the internet named Punch.
Yeah.
And was like uncontrollably sobbing every time Punch came across my Instagram feed. So I was already like highly emotional with this little monkey and his stuffed orangutan. That I was like, I don't know if I can handle another animal and their sad story.
Right?
I wasn't sure. I
You
was
weren't
just, like,
sure.
I literally started crying on page 2 of this book. Like that is a
Oh,
new record.
no.
I was like, I can't. I was like, Punch started this, and now Marcellus is gonna end it. Like, I just
What a roller
I was like,
coaster.
oh, no. I was like, this is gonna be a rough go because I don't know, like,
Right?
yeah.
Well, I have to say,
Animals get me in my feels every time.
I wasn't expecting to like become emotionally attached to an octopus. Like, if I'm being honest, I wasn't expecting that, but like very early in the book, like I was like, here we are. I am emotionally attached to Marcellus. He is fantastic. And also like the name Marcellus McSquiggles is literally just the best. I don't even. Yeah.
One thing that I wanted to text you so bad when I was reading this, especially like as I started getting into it, I'm like, in my head, Marcellus is the Sad Cat Diaries voice.
I don't know what that is.
Oh, you're gonna have to Google Sad Cat Diary.
All right.
Because like in my head, I was thinking like Marcellus is a very distinguished,
Oh yeah,
not British, but distinguished gentleman.
Okay.
But if you listen to
Is that
Sad Cat Diaries,
is that when the cat's like day 500 of my captivity?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, I do know that. Okay.
This is the voice that was
That's
playing
awesome.
when I was reading Marcellus. That was Marcellus's voice.
That's amazing.
That is exactly what I was picturing. Like, because he was very distinguished. He was a gentleman. Not British, but just very like, but also soothing. Like very like kind of monotone.
He kind of gave me like grumpy grandpa vibes.
Well, it's kind of with the sad cat, like the sad cat.
Yeah,
like he's just like kind of very monotone and just like very, yeah.
All right. Buffy's saying that in the audiobook is very similar. So whoever narrates. So that's spot on, Caitlin. Way to go.
Perfect.
I love this.
I'm very glad to hear that because sometimes it can be very disappointing when you're expecting. I feel like this would be really good on audio actually too. I never even really thought of that.
Yeah.
But it's nice that they really played into that. That makes me happy.
Okay. I feel like we're already kind of, getting into the not the exact content, but I feel like we I feel like we've both quite enjoyed this book. Is that a fair, like, before we do our star ratings, is that a fair, like, statement?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
awesome. Do we want to get into start getting into some spoilers now? Are we feeling spoilery?
I think we could. Yeah.
You think we could? All right.
I
Okay.
think we could.
Spoiler warning. You've been
Alert,
warned.
alert, alert.
Alert, alert. Yeah, we need a little like red flashing, like when the hockey, when there's a goal in the net.
Yeah.
There you go. So, okay, so for me in this book, like Marcellus stole the show. In all honesty, there were times like when I was reading the book and maybe we would get like Tova's point of view and Cameron's point of view, and then it would like go back to Tova and it wouldn't be Marcellus, and I'd be like, what? Like, excuse me, like I want to hear from Marcellus. Like, where is his next chapter, right? Because his sections are very short, couple of pages. So, he kind of helps like bring the story together and like tie things together once you've read everyone else's point of view. But yeah, he definitely, for me, like he was my favorite. He stole the show for sure. Easily like the most memorable character. And it didn't feel like gimmicky. Like it didn't feel like, oh, they're using an animal, they're using this person, this creature to like narrate. It definitely felt like he was, the other main character of the story. And I loved that so much. And when you talk about like how distinguished he was, like you definitely get those vibes about like his warmth and his wisdom. And I think one of my favorite things that he kind of goes through is like how he talks about his observations of people and humans. Like being in the aquarium and seeing people, and like he calls out how like clearly the progeny of one family is like that the father was a cuckold and that clearly was not his child. Like there was just like funny things that I just absolutely chuckled at, and I was like, this guy, I love Marcellus. He was so wonderful. Like heart of the book for sure.
And it's interesting because I thought about this and I'm like, if you remove Marcellus, the book still can be written.
Mm-hmm.
Like the story is not dependent on Marcellus, which is interesting because like there's other ways the author could have introduced some of those elements without Marcellus.
Yeah.
And that's what I think I love this, like why I love this book so much. And I really enjoyed this author. And I'm really interested to see what else she comes out with, because it's weird to add in an octopus as a character and as a point of view. And I think it's what made this book, because otherwise, I'm not saying that I wouldn't have enjoyed the book if it didn't have Marcellus, but it just changes. But like it wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I think you would.
Like it wasn't imperative to have Marcellus, but it made the book, and I don't think it would have been as much of a success without Marcellus. So it's just interesting that, like, I feel like when she was writing this book and she sends it to her editor, and they're like, "What? Like,
why
it's
an
a gamble.
octopus?
Like, this could go one of two ways, and like, it works. It works so perfectly."
Yep.
But like, yeah, and that's why it's fascinating what people can come up with, because it wasn't like you could have told this story without Marcellus, but it would not have been even 1/10 enjoyable.
No. He definitely plays the role of like bringing the pieces together. So if it wasn't Marcellus, like it would be curious to think about how Tova and Cameron would have figured out their connection, right? Because of the driver's license and like the house key and the ring,
yearbook, right? And all that. Like there's different things that it was just fun that, like the author could have been like, oh, well, we can make it so this. But it's like, well, let's just add the
Yeah.
octopus in and get Marcellus to
Yeah.
help move things along. Like it's genius. And I love it.
Yeah, it
And that's
was
what makes
really
this
good.
book special.
Yeah.
So, but it was just interesting thing when I was thinking about that because I'm like, it could have gone like it didn't need Marcellus to tell this story.
Yep.
But the fact that it had Marcellus help bridge the story
Yep.
makes it so much more special.
What did you think about the nitwits?
I was like, Tova needs better friends. But at the same time, I'm like, you know what? I think it was very relatable. Also, the fact that I think there was two things I struggled with Tova and her character. One is that because I know Sally Field is playing Tova
Yes.
in the Netflix adaptation,
Yep.
that is who I pictured. And even
Okay.
before I started reading, like I knew it was Sally Field playing Tova. So, and I love Sally Field. I love Mrs. Doubtfire is
Yep.
obviously one of the top. I also loved the show Brothers and Sisters, and she was the mother, and she just plays the most amazing, overbearing mother. And I just love her. I love her. So that's who I pictured. But then I'm going like, oh, she's 70 and she's looking at getting like she's looking at like a retirement home. And I'm going like, my mother, sorry, mom, totally outing you, but like my mother turned 70 this year. And I'm
Yeah.
like, she's nowhere near that.
Yeah.
So I struggled with like that,
Mm.
like picturing
You
and like
aged
70 is
her.
not right. Like I'm like 70 is
Yeah.
not that old.
No.
Like
I
she does
mean,
not need to be looking at retirement. Like, and again, I know everybody's different. Like, people age differently, and she's
yeah.
gone through a lot. And like the grief of like losing her son, losing her husband, like
Yeah.
that's a lot. That can really age someone. And just like at her stage in her life, where she has this job, but
Yeah.
like, and her friends are aging and moving away, and different things are happening with them too. So I get like she lives in a small town, but like I just really struggle with that because I'm like
Mm.
like this is like I don't
I,
know, and I find age
yeah.
is a weird thing as we get older and start
Yeah. Yeah.
seeing, like you think like, oh, like back in the day as a younger person, yeah, 70 would have seemed ancient, but now that like I'm like no, like my mom is nowhere near that point in her life, so. But I did love the idea of like the nitwits.
I
I
did
thought the
too.
name was clever and
It was
cute.
cute.
Um, but it was all, and I think it added a layer of, just the reality of having friends and, the reality of losing people, whether it's
Hmm.
through death, whether it's through circumstances,
Yep.
moving, having to move in or move states or provinces to go live with, your children or, those types of things. It's the
Yeah.
reality that, when you
100%.
have this group of people that things like it never remains the same
Yeah.
that you will lose people will not be connected and that can be really hard and
Yeah.
because no one likes change. So I think it was like while they didn't play a huge role in the sense of they weren't always there.
No.
um it did add a level of like they
Like
were there for her
community.
when they needed her, when
Yes.
she
Yeah.
needed them,
Yeah.
and vice versa. And it just shows the importance of friendship and that we don't. Our family is not necessarily who we are
Yeah.
related to in blood. It can also be who we choose to be our
Yeah.
family or choose to be our support system.
Yeah.
So I really, really liked them, and like even though they had their quirks,
Wild. They did. Yeah.
but don't we all? Don't we all?
I did appreciate
Um,
that the cat ended up finding a home with one of them temporarily.
yes.
And then, I mean, he made and like his name is Cat, which also was great. Like, random cat shows up and you
Very
just name it
Breakfast
Cat.
at Tiffany's.
Yes, yes, very much so. So I love that. And Buffy's chiming in again saying, yeah, they live up to their name. And yeah, I get a kick out of that. And I know they didn't like play a large part of the story. Like they were very much on the outskirts, but it was just fun to see how, this group of women continue to support each other through like the changes of life, and then also are just kind of like kooky. Like they all, kind of had their own personalities, and they were characters. And like, I really enjoyed that. And I think it added to that like sense of community that this small town, had.
Absolutely.
And I would say too, like it almost like helped it helped that small community almost feel like a character for me. Like it was not just the setting of the story, but we don't come from a big city, right? Like the city we grew up in is smaller, but like Sewell Bay is tiny, and
Yeah.
having had the opportunity to like drive through parts of Washington between here and Seattle, and then we spent time in Point Roberts. Like I could easily picture, what not just like the scenery of this place would look like, but also like what that community feel would be like, right? Like if you're in a city of 2,000 people.
Yeah.
So I thought, and how they talked about how like everyone knows everything, right? Like they know the history, and that was part of the challenge, I guess, with Cameron once he showed up there, not understanding that like maybe he just wasn't asking the right people the right questions. Like I think he irritated me. Cameron irritated the shit out of me at the like
Yeah.
start of the book. But I mean, it's some empathy for him too, like considering the story of like how he grew up without his mom, and like he's obviously super smart, but he can't get his shit together for anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of my like. I really loved
I
the book.
I feel like Cameron's character was written on purpose that way, though.
Oh, of course. We need to not like him so
Um,
that at the end
yeah,
we can like him when he like
yeah,
gets closure on his
yeah.
story.
And it's interesting because when I first started reading Cameron's story, I'm like, how does this guy fit in? And I thought I figured it like, well, I didn't I anyway, we'll get into that.
Well, we
But
can
like
talk. We're in spoiler time now. Fill your
true, that's
boots.
true. Okay. So I thought for sure, like I knew there was going to be some relation,
Yes.
but I first thought it was her
Me
brother, Lars
too.
time.
Me
That's where I
too.
thought it was going. I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, Lars had an illegitimate child. Like this is the nephew coming out of the woodwork."
Yep.
That's what I thought for sure.
Yep. Same.
Because I'm like Cameron, like the storyline didn't. It was funny because it didn't feel like it connected at first,
Yep.
and then like it took a while to get to that point where you're
Yep.
like, "Where is this? Like, how does Cameron fit into this storyline?"
Yep.
So, and I will say, like, where it ended up going, the math wasn't mathing for me in my head, I think,
Mm.
because I didn't think, like, I just automatically thought it was Lars's son because of the age, and that, like,
Mm.
there's no way that it could have been
Eric's.
Eric's son. Like,
Yeah.
I was like, because in my mind, I think I still pictured Eric as like younger.
Well, he was young. He was
Not
only
that he would
18.
have been no, but not that he would have been, like, in his
Oh, okay.
40s or,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
late
Yeah.
40s, early 50s. Like,
Yeah.
again, the age wasn't, and I mean, not that math is my strong point, but, yeah, it just didn't like, when it happened, I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, like,
Yeah.
that makes sense," but,
It
like, it
does. Yeah.
never clicked. So, it's
Did
funny that we both kind of went in that
yeah.
direction, thinking,
We're for folks who have joined us, if you've read the book, like was that a surprise for you when you found out how Cameron was related to Tova? Let us know in the chat. I'm curious if that was a surprise. What did you think about Ethan Mack as a love interest for Tova?
kind of feel bad for him. I'm like, this dude's got it bad for her, but he's not helping himself. Like, and then the whole t-shirt debacle,
I
like,
loved the t-shirt debacle
I
so
was
much.
like, and I mean, I am not as neat and tidy as Tova, but I was like, absolutely. Of course the cleaning supplies are under the kitchen
Yeah,
sink.
I
Like,
know that was funny.
I was just like, oh, this guy needs like that. None of this makes sense to me, and it would
Yeah.
very much irritate me. And like it,
Yeah.
that could be a reason for me to go, yeah, no, not interested,
I
not interested.
Yeah, I laughed. That was definitely one of the parts that I like chuckled at a lot. And
Yeah,
I don't know. I get he was a good secondary character as well.
he
You
was.
know, and like has all the tea, right? Knows everything that's going on because he like runs the grocery store in this small town and knows everyone that's like coming in and out. And if you've ever been to a small town like this, like if you think of Salisbury, New Brunswick, used to have the little Save Easy. Point Roberts, Washington has the one grocery store. Like you are going to know everything that's going on. So I did get like such a kick out of Ethan, but also like could understand the irritation of like
Mm,
people just knowing everything about you and like what
yeah,
is going on. Like that is, especially now like living in Vancouver, like that is just such a different experience.
right.
No one knows who I am. I'll walk and take the SkyTrain. No one's gonna be like, Aaron's on the SkyTrain today, you know?
Yeah.
But the t-shirt debacle, that was great. And like, I don't know. It just wasn't surprising. Like lifelong bachelor keeps weird shit under the sink that aren't for cleaning, like, and calls it a closet. It just cracked me up.
Yeah. Yeah. But no, like I think I like that it wasn't the focal point, but that like it still just again gave another tentacle of like
Oh.
of support
Yeah.
and connection for Tova in this small, like, just again showing that she's lost her family
Mm-hmm.
essentially, her traditional family. Like she lost her son, she
Yep.
lost her husband, she lost her brother. Like she's like, this is it, this is all I like, this is it's
Mm-hmm.
me, that's it. And then but to show like she has all these other areas in her life
Yeah.
that people connect
Like
with
support
her
system
and
and
care
yeah.
for her, like even Terry at the aquarium,
Yeah.
like that's another branch that she has to of support. So I think that all those little all those kind of secondary characters played a really important role in helping us know who Tova was, and
Yeah.
know that
Yeah.
she has the community support. She's not alone, even
Yeah.
though she feels like she is. She is not alone.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, Buffy saying that she had a bit of an inclination, but she wasn't sure because of the matching key, right? Having seen the key before, the house key, and that Eric had the house key. I did find
And
that
I
that
was
was
like,
sad.
that was just that to me was like, okay, we can confirm that he is like Eric
Like he's
is
dead, yeah.
dead.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that the key did for me, that never made that connection to Eric and Cameron.
Yeah.
Um
Hmm.
yeah, no, like it was really like you knew that I can't remember his name right now, but the
The real
mogul
yeah, the
realtor
construction guy.
you
Yeah.
knew that he wasn't going to be his dad. Like you knew from the get-go
Yeah.
that he was not the one. But yeah, I never expected it to be Eric.
No, it was good. I love too, like, I have to say, like, I've already confessed my love for Marcellus, the Great Pacific Octopus, but I have to say, the fact that not only is he, such a distinguished character, he's clearly so intelligent, with that humanization, but how much could I relate to just wanting a midnight snack? When no one's around to like see you eat it. Like, I mean, I'm not having any sea cucumbers by any means, but like, yeah, I totally got that. And then when they weigh him and he weighs more and the vet's just like, how does he weigh more?
Yeah.
And I love how at the end we like Terry admits to knowing, right? Like he knows that Marcellus goes on adventures. It was just great. I love that. That was a good like closure piece.
I love that we understood how Marcellus escaped and did his
Mhm.
little adventures. It also was terrifying because, again,
Why? Sea
my
creatures.
non-love of
Mm,
sea creatures and just knowing how intelligent
yeah.
and malleable these octopus like an octopus is, like, if I would love to say that if I was Tova and I was in the lunchroom cleaning up and I happened to come across a
Octopus
an octopus
in a phone
on the
charging
floor.
code?
Yeah, I don't know what I would do. I don't know how I would personally react. I would like to think that I would save it because I would be worried that it would
Yes.
come to an end, but it would
Yeah.
not be easy for me to just like reach in there and try to untangle that thing. I would not have that initial reaction and be like, "Oh my gosh, I need to save this
Really?
secret."
Oh, I
I would
immediately
probably
would
freak
try to
out.
save the sea creature.
I would probably freak out and be like, "Okay, how am I going to do this without
Yeah.
losing my shit?" Because I don't
You'd be more
I
like
wouldn't.
Cameron. You'd be more like
Yeah,
Cameron with the like broom handle, like trying to
yeah,
save but
yeah,
not. Yeah, okay. I get it.
yeah,
That's
not him
funny.
it, like, I would want to save him because I have been at aquariums where there's touch tanks and, like, you know, where you're swimming with stingrays, and I do not react well to being in close proximity to sea creatures. I love them from a distance. I don't love them. No, I don't love them from a distance. I appreciate them from a
Yeah.
distance.
Okay.
But, like, to be interacting with
Yeah.
them, yeah, I think I would have a problem.
Well, and
They'd really freak me out.
I
They'd
think
creep me
like
out.
generally my thought process over the years has changed a lot on like animals being in captivity, whether it's like an aquarium or a zoo or like whatever. But what timing? I saw on an Instagram reel today, and I will send it to you. Maybe we should share it on our story actually, because it is hilarious. It's a huge tank at an aquarium, and there's a man swimming in the tank, but he has on a mermaid fin, so like he has to like swim. And then they're like, it's him, and he's a big man, so he's like playing off that. It's kind of funny. And then there are like some other women that are in different shots, and there's a giant sturgeon. Do you know what a sturgeon is? Like they're giant, like prehistoric fish in their mouth, like they're supposed to be bottom feeders. Swims over and eats the hat off of one of the women. Oh my gosh, Caitlin, it's so funny. I will share it on our
That's
stories.
terrifying.
I
That is
know.
terrifying.
And this one lady, she's like whipping off her mermaid tail so she like get up to the top. But like, yeah, maybe don't go in the tank. Like I get it, but if I saw the fish or the octopus or whatever like in danger, I would try to get it back to where it needed to be. And like when
But
Tova
I
knows
don't
to
know if I
put
could
water
just
on it, like on Marcellus, like I was
yeah.
like wouldn't have necessarily thought about that for an octopus, but it checks out.
I don't think I could just be like, "Ooh, bare hands, let's go." I'd be like, "I'm gonna find some gloves. I'm gonna find some cardboard or something, like a bucket
Hilarious. A
for,
bucket,
like,
yeah.
helping." Like, I just don't I would love
I
to
love this
say
so much.
that I would have just jumped right in and, done anything I could, but I really honestly think I would have been ashamed the way I would have reacted, if I came across an octopus in a lunchroom. I really think I would've I would not be. I mean, I reacted terribly when there's been mice in my apartment. Like,
Well, I
I'm
know.
ashamed,
Yeah. Well, no, but
but,
like
like,
mice, I can understand
it
that.
yeah, but, like, still, sea creatures just are on a different level for me, and I just don't know.
You're
Like,
getting
the
some
instinct
love in
might
the
be like,
chat though
for me,
about the mice.
Marcellus, you like you wanna feel the tentacles. I don't know if
I
I
do.
think
I
I
would
can
love to feel the tentacles. That's great. Me too.
I think I could live my life satisfied not knowing what the tentacles feel like.
Have you ever eaten calamari? Or octopus? No, okay. No, yeah.
Ugh.
Because, like, you could literally probably, like, feel that tentacle.
Like, when I see people, like, I've seen people eat
Yeah. Bleh,
octopus, and it's
nope.
like, I'm like, "No,
Feels like Fear
no."
Factor.
Ugh, like, it makes me shut like, no. No, no, no.
It's great.
Um, yeah, I do not yeah, I'd like to think I would do anything I possibly could to help Marcellus. I just don't know if I would be successful
Yeah.
or very efficient.
It feels like It's Me Bleep Bloop is right up there with Tova. There'd be Marcellus would be all over their arm getting back into the tank. It's great.
Yeah.
Was there anything about the book, Caitlin, that like you didn't like or like that didn't work for you?
Honestly, I enjoyed the whole thing. Like, there was
Yeah, me too.
never anything that I was like, no. I mean, like, Cameron's attitude, yeah, absolutely. I was like, oh dear God, this is why I don't date.
Oh,
Yep,
that's great.
just one more check mark of the staying single's good enough. Um, yeah, that was the only thing that I was kind of like, like
Yeah.
I just he annoyed me. But he had his moments, and I understand, like, I understood his importance of his character.
Yeah.
But there was nothing that I will say, the one thing that I kind of panicked was as I was getting near the end of the book, I'm like, wait a minute. There's not a lot of pages and there's still a lot of story to wrap up here. So I
Yeah.
was a little worried that the ending was going to be rushed. I
Okay.
don't feel like when I got to that
Yeah.
point, I didn't feel that way, but I did start to kind of worry. I was like, wait a minute, we still have a good amount of ground to cover. Like, how are we going to wrap this up in like the short amount of pages? And I guess you did the e-reader, so it may not have been the same feeling.
Yeah.
But like, because I had the physical book, I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah, okay. That's fair.
But no, I really like there was nothing like I had no.
Yeah.
And again, that's how I tend to read unless there's something glaringly like or something really annoying me. Like, I usually am I don't have a lot of like harsh thoughts on a book. How about you?
I agree with you. I also really enjoyed the character Avery, so like Cameron's eventual love interest, and I think she ties together the pieces of like Cameron's mother Daphne being in Sowell Bay, understanding what happened to Eric and the way that he died on the boat. I don't know that we needed that annoying guy at the lunch that drank all the martinis. That she meets him at the dock. He's on his bicycle. She gives him water, and then he ends up being at lunch later. He probably like I don't even remember his name. Like he probably wasn't very.
Adam?
Well, I don't know. I don't know what his name was.
But I think he kind of drops the drunk truth
Yes.
of him having a girlfriend, like having a love interest.
Yes, he does.
So
About like taking the
he would
beers
have
and
had to
like
have, like,
yeah.
someone would have had to, like, dump that secret. So I think, like, he played a role
Yeah. I
in
just
the
didn't like him.
sense of yeah, no, fair.
Yeah. But I have to say, like, by the time I was like 80% done the book, I think I was just like so deeply invested in wanting to make sure that everyone got the ending they deserved to have, right? Like I didn't want Tova to move to the retirement community. And like I wanted Marcellus to make it back to the ocean for, his last days. And I wanted Cameron to figure out who his father was. And it was just, and I wanted Ethan Mack to have a shot, right? Like with Tova. So I was like super invested that way. And then, when did you cry? Because
No.
I know you cried. Wait, you cried on page 2. Okay, I didn't cry on page 2.
Right on page 2 because I think but I'm blaming Punch for that.
Okay,
Punch
all
the
right,
Monkey
okay.
was the
Punch the
reason I
monkey.
cried on page 2 because I was like, "Oh my gosh, we're already talking about
Yeah.
this octopus. I don't even know Marcellus yet, and we're already talking about his demise. I can't handle this."
Oh, yeah.
So, I cried a little bit there. Um, I started crying when Tova comes out and finds him in the hallway. and I did not stop at the end.
Oh,
Like,
at
she
the end.
finds him by
Yep.
the door.
Yep. Trying to make
Started
his
crying
great
then,
escape. Yep.
ugly cried, would stop a
Really?
little bit because, I still had a decent amount of book to read.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, so ugly cried during that whole scene when she's trying to get
Okay.
him in the bucket and like just trying to save
Yeah.
him and everything like that. I cried. Then I started crying again heavily when she had him outside and she's taking him to the water because I'm like, oh my
Yeah,
God, like
finally. I
just
was
doing this
worried
for
about him
him.
getting dropped 3 feet onto rocks, like into the ocean. Not gonna lie.
I don't even know if I remember that because I just was like, oh, I was just a mess. I was a
Yeah,
wreck. And then I just continued to cry until the very end of the book,
into
and
the
even
end.
after I shut the
Okay,
book, I still cried.
you
I was
cried.
still crying after the book finished, and and it had been a
Yeah.
rough day at work, I'm not gonna lie, and I was like, "I need to finish this book. I
Yeah,
cannot, because I sometimes, like, will read at night and know if
yeah,
I'm tired, if I fall asleep, I'm like, "Oh, I'm just gonna wake up early and read
yeah.
before
Okay.
work." I was like,
Yeah.
"I cannot finish this book tomorrow morning and go to work because I'm gonna be
You'll be wrecked.
swollen and, like, Quasimodo eyes here because I'm crying." So I was like, "I need to finish this book tonight."
Yeah.
I finished the book, I had, like, a bad tension headache going on, it was a rough day, I literally finished the book and then took a gummy. 'Cause I was like, "I can't do
You
this
needed
anymore."
drugs to cope with the end of this book. Like,
And
that
it
is great. I
I
I
didn't
think
wanna
I
I
was
didn't wanna do it beforehand, like, I didn't wanna do it too early because I'm like, "I need to finish this book, I want to I need to, like, remember the end of the book, first of all,
for the
so we can
stream.
talk
Yeah.
about it." And I was like, and I know I'm gonna be an emotional mess. Like I knew that it was going to be, I knew this book was gonna
Okay.
make me cry. What are gonna
Yeah.
make me cry, page 2.
Yeah, yeah.
But I knew that I will appreciate though how they handled Marcella, like that we didn't actually witness.
Yes. Yeah, I did. I
Because
like
I was
that
like,
too.
that I will not be able
Yeah.
to handle.
Yeah.
So like even like knowing that he was able to go, and then when he went to go find Eric
Yeah.
in the water, like,
So I didn't
that
start
also made
crying
me ugly
until that
cry.
chapter. So
Oh, really?
Marcellus's last chapter is when like I got emotional. I think I was more like cheering Tova on to like I could just imagine Sally Fields lugging one of those gross yellow
Yeah.
janitor mop and bucket things like down a
Mhm.
dock, and it's all like crazy, it doesn't want to go. So like I was more like, yeah, like get him the water, yeah, like we're free Marcellus, not free Willy, free the octopus. And like get him out there. I was a little like concerned because when you think of like a dock, right, obviously the tide was in, but like you gotta like, it's far, she wasn't like gently putting him into the water,
Releasing him.
right?
Yeah, no, I was crying way before that. Like I said, she found him in the hallway and thought it was a
Yeah.
paper bag, and I was like, "Oh my God, it's Marcellus." And I was like, "Nope, I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm just done." So yeah, and then I started crying harder again when he talked about going to find Eric again.
Yes. Yeah. His
And then I
last
started
like 48
crying
hours, whatever. Yeah.
also very hard when Tova is like reminiscing and saying how much she misses both of them.
Oh, at the end.
I'm
Yeah, I
getting
think I
choked up
started.
even just thinking
I
about that
know.
right now.
I think like I started crying in Marcellus's last chapter, and then it was pretty consistent because that's almost the very end of the book, right? So like as everything is like wrapping up, and I think like what really got me is the just like the way he like does his little narration, right? Like at the end of everything. So that was so lovely, but it sounds like this book wrecked you pretty hard. And some folks in the chat too. Like we've got it's me bleep bloop started crying at the same place as you. And poor Buffy was on the bus. Oh, Buffy. The sad audiobook on the bus. Like, man.
Yeah.
That's a tough one. But I think it's time. I think it's time, Caitlin.
I think it's and I think part of the reason I really loved it, and I know you like, it's interesting because you talked about like why people love this book and why people didn't love this book. I love a good character development. I
Yes, you do.
love people. I love knowing their stories. I love
Hmm.
being heavily invested. I need to be invested in characters. So that's the interest. Like that's
Hmm.
why I think back to Alchemize. I was not invested in any of those people.
Listen, stop beating up on
No,
Alchemize, Caitlin.
but that's the reality though. Like there was still character development, but like if I'm not invested with those, like I need to be emotionally invested with characters in a book
Yes.
to really like love a book. Like that's what
Yeah.
brings me like a love of a book. This I really loved Tova. I loved Marcellus.
Hmm.
I like so that I just was like I think that's why I was so emotionally connected and that's
Okay.
why I really enjoyed this story because it was a beautiful story with beautiful
Was.
characters and yeah.
So I am personally ready to hear what you rated this book.
Okay.
We're gonna make you go
I
first.
am giving this a 5 star.
Woo! Caitlin says 5 stars. Excellent, excellent.
This is my first 5 of the year.
It is, and my screen is wonky and it doesn't want to show it all. Meh, why?
Like you have 2 stars. No.
I know.
Oh, there we go. Oh, oh.
No, I don't know. It doesn't
Didn't
show
like
all
me.
5. Makes me
5 stars.
mad. I'm gonna try to fix it. Let's see if I can.
Now I can go on my Goodreads and update it.
Right? Absolutely, you can. You can give it the full thing. Yeah, I don't know why that doesn't look nice. I'm sad.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I
What about your rating?
also gave it 5 stars.
Nice.
Yeah. What a wonderful book. It just really was fantastic. What a wonderful, wonderful book. I want to fix your thing. So let's see if I can fix it while we're on here because now I'm mad that it doesn't want to be fixed.
First, because it's just not expecting me to give 5 stars because I very rarely give 5 stars.
It was kind of like when you look at me. I fixed it. Okay. Real time. Okay, so for those of you in the chat who've read the book, let us know what you rated this. I would love to know if you are on team 5 star or if you gave something else. But yeah, it was 5 star read for sure. And I know sometimes I've not given a book 5 stars because I felt like the ending was too tidy or that like sort of thing. But in all honesty, like I loved the way that everything came together at the end and it didn't feel perfect. Like the fact that even Cameron and Avery's relationship, it was just like beginning. You don't know what really is going to happen with Ethan, Mac, and Tova. So like oh yeah, 5 stars. This is wonderful. Wonderful.
I think I needed this book to end the way it did though.
Tell me more.
I needed it to be like again, like it wasn't necessarily happy endings like everywhere because there's been a lot of heartbreak and grief. Like we know that Marcellus, we know that Marcellus
dies.
Dies
yeah.
in the end. But I think like I said, I'm glad we didn't have to witness that. I really appreciated that because I would not have been okay. I wasn't okay.
Yeah.
But I would not like that would have just been too much for me. So I liked how everything kind of came together. And to your point, where it wasn't like everything wasn't fully defined of like, and they all lived happily after ever, and this is what happened. It was this is where like we've wrapped up this chapter. But there's still the next chapter for all of these characters.
For all of them. Except for Marcellus. But I did like that they introduced the new octopus. Who, like, clearly...
so bad, though.
Oh, of course. I know. But she's a rescue.
I did like the fact that
Yeah.
she seemed like she actually needed
Yeah.
this rehabilitation and
Yeah.
would not have been able to survive in the wild. So,
Correct. Yeah.
I did like I said, there were little things that I appreciated that this author put thought into,
Hmm.
in the sense of, like, it could have gone one way,
Yeah.
but it went a different way that seemed to, like, make it just
Yeah.
make it
Yeah.
okay.
And it gave me Vancouver Aquarium vibes as well, because like Vancouver Aquarium does a lot of rehabilitation, and like they have the sea lions from Marineland now. And like it so it did give me that, like it's not about like going out into the wild and capturing it for the sake of capturing it, but like
Yeah.
it will probably the sea cucumbers, let's be honest, but like Marcellus's snacks, midnight snacks. But like I do think that that like it's more of like an educational rehabilitation type aquarium, which is nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, just such a good story. I'm really glad we read it. And I'm glad it was a 5-star read, right? Like, because we've had some, I think this is our first. I think this is our first 5 stars for both of us.
I think so.
I think so. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Buffy's telling us she gave it 4 stars because she doesn't like crying when she's reading. I
Oh my
mean,
god, if I took away stars because I cried in a book, like, it's so weird because I never used to cry in books.
oh, I
And
did.
then I still remember, I think it was The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna
Mm.
that, like, opened the
Unlocked a
floodgates,
hole. Yeah, that's funny.
and then they've never closed up since.
That's funny.
And so
And
now I cry at books all the
all the
time.
time, yeah. I'm a crier, so yeah, I definitely cry at
Yeah.
books. It's me, Bleep Bloop gave it a 5 star as well, so we're in good
Mhm.
company. Yeah, and hey, once
So
we
I can
actually
see
put this in
this.
Goodreads, we're gonna bump that star rating up.
Yeah, I can see why there is a mass appeal for this book
Yeah,
because it is just, it's cute.
yeah,
It gives you
absolutely,
hope, but it also talks about like I think it kind of touches on real life and that,
it does.
grief is hard and that there's different ways like it in I think one of the things I loved was Tova's outlook on life and that she's been dealt a lot of really hard hitting moments,
Yeah,
but she's never stopped living.
yep.
And I think that that was really,
I think that's
really
why her
beautiful to
not
see.
going to the retirement home was also so impactful, right? Like, I think
Right.
it made so much sense for her to move out of the house her father built, like,
Yeah.
even with all that story. And I loved how she found the horse underneath the
No.
floorboards because Cameron was like, that wood doesn't match.
Yeah.
Like that was wonderful, but I like how she's staying in her community with her people, but like still in a space for herself. And yeah, and the fact that she's, I think, still at the aquarium, right? Because Cameron is working for
Yeah.
his mother's best friend, which
Yeah.
was also like a crazy twist in the story. I loved that he had a speakeasy for her though.
I think the reason why I love this book too is that there was no like big like, oh my gosh, this moment is so great.
Yeah.
Everything. There was lots of little glimmers of
Mhm.
like, and that's how real life is for the
It
most part
is,
for
yeah.
most of us. Like it was very, very like there were just lots of little things that brought a smile to your face, going,
Yep.
okay, these
Like the
people are gonna be
bronze octopus
okay.
statue outside of the
Oh, I
aquarium.
know. I cried at that part. That made me start crying again too. Like I said, from the moment of of Tova
Yeah,
coming
just to
across
the end.
Marcellus just to the end, and I would kinda, like, ease up, I'm like, "Okay, okay," and then something would happen, I'm like, "Here we go again." Like, I think I went through half a box of tissue. I
Oh,
looked like a hot mess after I finished this book.
oh,
Like,
it was so good though. It was such a good
it was
book.
so good, and I
Yeah,
kind of anticipated that I would be emotional at the end of
yeah.
it, um,
Well,
but
because
yeah,
like Marcellus tells you on page 2, he's not gonna make it, right? Like this is the end of his
exactly.
life. Yeah.
But he
Um.
yeah.
Yeah. Just so I think it the art. I think there's clearly a reason why you had to delay reading this book, though, Caitlin, in your life. And I think that reason is because Netflix is doing an adaptation for this book. And that adaptation comes out very soon. So I think we should talk about it.
Okay.
I think we should talk about it. I absolutely am excited for this. Well, I am and I'm not, actually. Let me say it that way. I am and I'm not excited for this. And as we've kind of talked about before, so first off, this is going to be out on Netflix on May 8th. Cannot wait. Want to watch it. You've already said, and as everyone can see on this teaser picture that's actually been released by Netflix of Tova and Marcellus, like, it's just such a great photo. That Sally Fields plays Tova. We know that Cameron is played by Lewis Pullman, which is Bill Pullman's son. And like, I like Bill Pullman's like, what a 90s icon for movies in like early 2000s. And when I was kind of looking at what he was in before, he was in Lessons in Chemistry.
Okay.
Which I haven't watched, but I did read the book and I did enjoy the book. But it's curious that he's in like 2 book adaptations now.
Yeah, I've not watched it. I really enjoyed the book. I have not watched the adaptation of it.
So, but the reason why, and if anyone was with us when we talked about the whole like book to movie or book to TV series adaptation, a few months ago, I mentioned that I thought one of the worst book to movie adaptations was Where the Crawdads Sing. And my gosh, Caitlin, it's the same director. It is the same director for Remarkably Bright Creatures. And I was like, if Olivia Newman ruins this, I am going to be so mad. It has such potential.
And I wonder, because I felt the same way with Where the Crawdads Sing. I enjoyed the book.
Mm-hmm.
I did not enjoy the movie. I found the movie confusing, but I feel like people who didn't read the book liked it. Liked the movie. So I feel like this one has a little bit more.
It'll be like you need to interpret it directly.
Like more screen-friendly moments that I think than Where the Crawdads, because Where the Crawdads was so like about the character and more about like what was happening.
Yeah.
Like
murder.
I don't know. I feel like I have hope. I have hope.
I hope so. Ooh.
And I love, like I said, I love Sally Field.
I know you do.
From the like what we've seen so far of like the sneak peeks, I feel like it's going to be. But again, you never know.
I know, but that's the only thing that has me worried. Like, all of the photos that they've shared are great and super cool. Filmed in Vancouver, right? Oh, very and cool. Look at that. Buffy's saying very much like Vancouver Aquarium. So it definitely looks like the Vancouver Aquarium. I said the same thing when I saw this Buffy. When I saw this photo, I was like, this has got to be in the Vancouver Aquarium. But we know for sure that they filmed in and around Vancouver, including Deep Cove, Lions Bay. So like in some of those sneak peek photos that you see, you can tell like it's got Vancouver written all over it. And hey, Val, thanks for joining us. Better late than never. But yeah, I am excited. I am excited. And I think like, I'm glad we were able to read this book, before this was out on Netflix, because I think I would have had a hard time waiting and like reading the book, or like watching it. Oh, Buffy Steveson too, eh? Okay, cool. Steveson, that's a little village in Richmond. Very nice area.
Nice. No, I'm really excited. Sorry, I have a tickle in my throat that's just not going away. I am really excited to watch this, and I probably will, like, as soon as it comes out, will sit down and watch
Yeah.
it. Um, I will say it's not the adaptation that I'm the most excited about, but it is
Okay, well,
it's like number
all
2 on the
right. Okay,
list.
well, let's put a pin in that one for a moment. Because now I know you've got me curious about what you're waiting for.
You already
Um,
know. We've already talked about it.
I forget.
It's one of my favorite books of all time.
No, I forget. I don't remember.
It's Project Hail Mary.
Oh, yes. Okay. Yes. And I bought that book for that reason.
So good. I wish I could, like, I think what I'm gonna do is, because I've heard the audiobook is phenomenal. I think I'm going to do a reread before I go see
Okay.
it, but do the audiobook.
Okay, cool. All right. So
Yeah.
I would like to know for folks who've joined us who have read Remarkably Bright Creatures, like, how do you feel about the fact that this is going to be adapted as a movie for Netflix? Are you excited? Are you nervous? Are you just like curious? If you haven't read it yet, are you just going to watch the movie? I would love to know. So drop like your opinions in the chat. And then one of the things that I thought was interesting is that they haven't announced the voice actor for Marcellus. So like clearly this is a secret, right? They've listed out pretty much every other main character, but we don't know who's going to voice Marcellus. And I can see that Buffy.
It's the sad cat diary guy.
Yes. Well, but who is that guy?
I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. So, so curious in the chat. So like I see, it's me, Bleep Loop, curious about the adaptation. Val's with a grain of salt. Buffy's happy she can cry at home, not on the bus.
Sure.
I've already shared, but I would love to like know, Caitlin, like, if you don't know who the Cat Diaries man is, then you're going to have to say somebody else. But like, who would you pick as like an actor to voice Marcellus? Because I've had some thoughts about this, and I'm curious what you think. And drop in the chat if you have any like suggestions about who could be a cool voice for Marcellus.
This is totally gonna go against my like sad cat diary thing, but like instantly I just went to like Clive Owens.
Really?
I don't
Clive
know why.
Owens? I don't know either.
Yeah.
Okay.
He hasn't done
All
anything in
right.
a while. Has he?
No.
I don't know.
No.
But it's kind of got that like, I feel like he could be a good Marcellus.
Okay.
I
I
don't know why.
think
That
like
just automatically that just came.
I think like for me, because I've
What?
been thinking about this, is like, and I've been thinking about like who works with Netflix. Right? Like who actually works with Netflix? Because like obviously Morgan Freeman should narrate everything always. But Morgan Freeman costs too much money. He's probably not narrating an octopus. Just like David Attenborough, right? He'd probably be great to narrate Marcellus. But once again, not British, so maybe not. But like I was thinking about like, you got Sam Elliott. He does a lot of, he did that show for a long time. He did a lot of work with Netflix. He has a cool kind of like very like American, like deep voice that could be neat. But
Yeah,
then
like
I was
Sam
thinking,
Elliott's he's a little country. Like he's a little too southern twang. Like I'm
you think
not
so?
necessarily. Yeah, and
Okay.
he's busy right now because it's funny because we were talking about Landman right now, and he's too
Ah,
busy doing that. But
okay.
I mean, yeah.
I was thinking about J.K. Simmons. You don't know
I
who
can't
that
think of who
is.
that is right
Yes,
now.
you totally know who that is. You know who J.K. Simmons is. What's the last thing J.K. Simmons is now like a buff old man. I'm glad you're looking on your on your phone. He's like a buff old man. He was
Oh,
in that like
yes, okay, yes, I know who he is.
yeah. Yes, he was in Spider-Man. Like, I feel like because he does a lot of stuff with Netflix, like he would be cool. And then the other person I was thinking of was Bryan Cranston. Could be fun.
Yeah.
But I did say, Val, you said in the chat, you said you think you know who it is. So, like, if you've read a Reddit, or like you've seen a spoiler somewhere, like please fill us in, or like just generally give us your ideas in the
Well,
chat.
Buffy said she thought thought it was Michael Urie. I don't know who that is either. Need to look up who that person is too.
No, I don't know who Michael Urie is either. And yes, it's me, Bleep Bloop. I do have a type, and that type is Sam Elliott. Oh, goodness.
That's not who I was picturing at all.
So, no, Val, Lewis Pullman plays, yes, Cowboy is my type. Lewis Pullman plays Cameron. So he plays the character of Cameron. He's not the voice. Yeah. Michael Urie's on Shrinking. Is he the other guy with Harrison Ford, the other psychiatrist in the practice? Michael Urie? No? I don't know who he is then. I'm gonna have to look.
I recognize him, but not what I pictured. But I mean, again, he's an octopus, so he doesn't necessarily have to look.
Yeah, clearly doesn't have to like look like the octopus. It's more about the voice. Oh, that's him.
I don't know if we're gonna get our like sad cat diary voice for this.
I know.
Who knows? But hey, you know what? Never judge a book by its cover, because look at the guy who plays Vecna on Stranger Things. Like, yeah, you would not realize that his voice like
went with what he looks like. British. Yeah.
So when he's playing, like these actors can do many things with their voices. So who knows?
It's true.
Who knows?
Well, I am excited. Everyone is excited for this, or at least a little bit curious about what we're going to see from Netflix on May 8th. But like we always do, more books are coming your way, courtesy of Two Sides Same Story. Caitlin, do you want to tell us what our next book is?
I would love to, Erin. We're going to switch gears again. So we've done dark
romantasy. Yep.
Ish. Yeah. We did a romantasy.
Romance.
We've done now just kind of like a warm, cute, cozy, fictional, like very character driven. And we're gonna switch to maybe a little thriller. Yeah. Psychological thriller action here. This is by Jason Rekulak. I could have completely butchered that last name. But it's the last one at the wedding. So we are going to read this little, and it's a good little, I feel like this will be probably a quick little read. I'm really excited to read this because this
335 pages.
How many?
335 on the hardcover from the library.
Basically the same thing.
And, here we go.
Yeah. I really enjoyed, so I read Hidden Pictures. So this is the author that wrote Hidden Pictures. I really, really enjoyed Hidden Pictures. It's again, thriller, kind of whodunit. And I would recommend anybody who hasn't read Hidden Pictures to read Hidden Pictures. So I'm actually I picked this book up a while ago because I saw that he had released this one and really enjoyed that book. So we're going to dive into this one.
Switching it up.
Yeah.
Switching it up. Yeah, I think it'll be, I did not read Hidden Pictures, so I'm curious to see what Jason Rekulak's all about. But I do love a thriller. I love a good, whodunit, psychological thriller sort of thing. So I'm excited to read this. The other thing too that we're going to do, and we'll probably post it this week, so make sure you're paying attention on our socials, is we've decided to map out our next 6 books. Because we know that not every book is for everyone. And, not everyone has time to read, but we've mapped out our next 6 books and the day we're going to stream them so that you have a chance to pick and choose what you want to read along with us. You can let us know Mike is throwing a little moose emoji in the chat. I don't know what that means, Mike, but I'm hoping it is positive with the moose chat, the moose emoji. But yeah, so we'll post that. Essentially, we're kind of we're playing it out as like two books a month.
Getting our shit together.
We're getting our shit together. It's going to help us achieve our goals, okay? And yes, it is a book map, Buffy. So we are looking at 2 books a month, essentially, from now until May. We took into consideration like holidays, that sort of thing, so that we're streaming on days that'll be easy for folks to join as well. So please go and take a peek once we get that posted. We're going to be posting a lot this week, so we'll post about what we read in February. We're going to post our book map for the next 6 books, and then we'll also do a little announcement that we're going to be reading the last one at the wedding. Yeah. Have I forgotten anything, Caitlin?
I'm excited.
I'm excited too.
Just have it be here. I'm excited that we have some great books lined up. Starting to get through that TBR pile, I will say. Like, yeah. And it's more fun. Like, I love reading, but it's actually way more fun to do that. Like, I've never been a part of a book club. I don't know why.
Me neither.
But I feel like this I really look forward to it because it kind of, like, again, I'm so driven by what I get from the library, what comes through, like whether it's physical books, I have a little bit more flexibility, but like I'm always driven by like what's come through the Libby app, what's come through with the library to be like, okay, what do I need to read? And then if like that kind of dried up, then I'm like, okay, let's go to the bookshelf to see all the books that I haven't read that I can pull from. So I'm excited to start kind of diving into like both, like everything.
Your physical TBR as well as your virtual TBR and just vibes, basically.
Yeah. So I'm excited that we have the next like 2 months lined up of what we're going to be reading and what we're going to be chatting about.
Yeah.
And then that'll give us time to start planning the next 2 months.
Yep.
Then we get into the summer months where reading at the beach is just,
a vibe.
Yeah.
And I think too, we're going to have a nice mix of like things that are being released soon or like have recently been released and books that have been out for a while. So please go like take a peek on our socials and like let us know if you've read any of the books that we've put up already. Is there anything that you're excited for? Hopefully if you're into thrillers, hopefully you will join us for the last one at the wedding. I think it'll be a good one. And Val, I am super jealous of your cottage August weekend. Floating and reading sounds fantastic, especially in Nova Scotia.
Erin, you missed the perfect opportunity.
Oh, what?
To tell Val, you could say like, I'm coming to the cottage. That was a terrible impersonation.
It was. I'm coming to the cottage. Val is going to the cottage. Val, are you sure? Are you sure? Bridgewater, your Bridgewater cottage. Scary wolf bird. That's right. There's definitely some loons out in Bridgewater, but hey, thank you so much, everyone, for joining along with us and talking about Remarkably Bright Creatures. And I think this is the first double 5-star read for us. So we will remember this. Oh my gosh,
you just said that, like Remarkably Bright Creatures. And you know another part that got me was the fact that Marcellus referred to the humans as the Remarkably Bright Creatures.
I know. And made me cry. That's what did it.
Remarkably Bright, beautiful book.
It was so wonderful. I hope Olivia Newton doesn't fuck it up when she directs it for Netflix. But we'll find out. We'll have to talk about it in May.
Absolutely.
Will be a whole stream, maybe. We'll just add an extra one in just to talk about Remarkably Bright Creatures. But thanks everyone for joining along with us. We'll see you on March 15th to talk about the last one at the wedding. And yeah.
Ides of March.
Oh, the Ides of March. A2, Brutus. That's right. All right, everyone. Thanks so much. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.